congratulate the Department of Journalism for initiating this very important theme. That in fact, I had the opportunity to interact with the Telugu journalists and with the support of the American consulate, kind enough and at the same time to strengthen the media in particular in the eyes of the public. But whereas which have a long association with the American consulate, I think under the Ford Foundation, we received a lot of funds for the strengthening the American Studies Research Center, which was discontinued from the last 10 to 15 years. And now which we have established in the International Center for International Center for Academic Affairs. And recently we also initiated one important center, which is the first center in the country that known as the Center for Indo-Pacific Studies. Most of the US universities, Australia and Japan and other universities also interested to work with us. And but at the same time, one more important aspect which I wanted to bring into your notice, Sneha Mehraji, I think the Honorable Chief Minister always saying that the cyber crime and cyber security related issues. In fact, the State Council of Higher Education, Usman City, is preparing the 2 credit course for the cyber security and cyber crime, which we are going to launch from this academic year at the undergraduate level. We will take your support and inputs while preparing the syllabus and other things also. So coming to this fact check, I think sometimes I think some of the newspapers also which published recently, maybe the intervention of the Department of Journalism and the American consulate, they published on one hand it is a fact, and another side is false. Kind of a news which also publishing. That's a good for most of the readers which came to know that. So which is right information, which is wrong information is also sometimes very difficult. And most of the newspapers are also guided with this some kind of ideology. I think that's why I think they're providing information which is not fact also. So even for example, which I wanted to give it to you for the Usman University, with a number of times which they publish the sometimes we laugh to ourselves, that which is not related to the university and not related to sometimes the education system, but they publish without taking the information of the concerned officials and one-way kind of information. So that gives a lot of confusion for the readers. So in fact, I think I thank the department for initiating this 6-week training program. From here onwards, we expect the accurate news and the impartial news from the media houses. That would be a great support, great strengthening the democratization of the society. Thank you very much for this.
I think the time has come to listen to our chief guest who will deliver the keynote address.
Mr. Frankie Strum, Public Diplomacy Officer, U.S. Consulate General, respected Vice Chancellor, OU, Professor D. Ravinder, and Mr. Majid from Press Council of India, and all your journalist friends, all of you know the importance that you carry in terms of how information flows among the mass. If you comfortable, so I will speak in Hindi also, or Urdu, English. तो जो आप जो इन्फॉर्मेशन देते हैं किसी भी टॉपिक के बारे में, किस तरह से पब्लिक उसको परसीव करती है, कोई इंसिडेंट होती है या कोई घटना होती है या कुछ भी कोई बोलता है तो होती है या कोई घटना होती है या कुछ भी कोई बोलता है तो फाइनली पब्लिक उसको किस तरह से लेती है, ये आप जो लिखते हैं, आप जो दिखाते हैं उसके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है. तो जो आज प्रोग्राम है काउंटरिंग डिसइंफॉर्मेशन फॉर उर्दू टेलीविजन जर्नलिस्ट का, उसमें आई हैव डन सम एफर्ट, आई हैव मेड अ पीपीटी, आई हैव बीन गिवन 20 मिनट्स एंड आई विल ट्राई टू मेक फुल यूज ऑफ इट. पहले क्या होता था, इन द पास्ट इट यूज्ड टू बी वी यूज्ड टू सिट टुगेदर विद आवर फैमिलीज एंड सी डीडी न्यूज or any, I think DD News was the only medium where we used to combinedly sit at 8 p.m. in the evening or early morning 9 a.m. and see to view the news along with our family, and that was a common news that was available to all of us. But with as Mr. Frankie Strum said, that जैसे जैसे we had more availability of social media, more availability of platforms, the consumption of news and the propagation, यानी कि लेना और देना जो न्यूज़ का हो गया वो बहुत ज़्यादा इंडिविजुअल हो गया कि कोई भी इंफॉर्मेशन डाल सकता है, कोई भी इंफॉर्मेशन पिकअप कर सकता है. तो जो पूरा सिस्टम है Can we have the slide changer, or can somebody change the slides? Okay, right, I'll do it. So जो consumption है, who is changing the slide? Okay, I'll tell when to change. So जो consumption है news का, वो बहुत ज़्यादा individual हो गया है, fragmented हो गया है. यानी कि आप सपोज मुझे जो न्यूज़ मिल रही है वो डिफरेंट हो सकती है, किसी और को जो न्यूज़ मिल रही है वो डिफरेंट हो सकती है, और उसके बाइसेस के ऊपर वो न्यूज़ अपने हिसाब से कंज्यूम कर लेता है, और उसको जो सही एक माइंड में बाइस है उसके हिसाब से इंफॉर्मेशन उसके पास चली जाती है. आज जो मेरी कीनोट एड्रेस है उसका मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव है, नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज, करंट डिसइंफॉर्मेशन लैंडस्केप इन इंडिया. अभी जो प्रेजेंट डिसइंफॉर्मेशन का इंडिया में क्या लैंडस्केप है, हाउ डिसइंफॉर्मेशन अफेक्ट्स डेमोक्रेसी, हाउ इट अफेक्ट्स पब्लिक ओपिनियन एंड सोशल कोहेजन, व्हाट आर द चैलेंजेस इन काउंटरिंग डिसइंफॉर्मेशन, व्हाट आर द स्ट्रैटेजीज to counter disinformation, what is the social media platform's role in that, and what is the role of government, and the importance of collaboration among stakeholders and resources available for countering disinformation. Next slide please. Next. So what is the difference between disinformation and misinformation? Misinformation is something which is similar to the original facts, यानी कि वो सच्चाई के काफी नजदीक है, बट किसी के पास गलत इन्फॉर्मेशन है इसलिए वो मिसइन्फॉर्मेशन बन जाता है. लेकिन डिसइन्फॉर्मेशन के पीछे एक इंटेंट होता है कि मुझे ये डिसइन्फॉर्मेशन फैलानी है, मुझे लोगों के पास एक दूसरा पब्लिक ओपिनियन है, इस बात को एक कम्युनल एंगल देके या किसी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी के फेवर में किसी के अगेंस्ट देके इसको रखना है, तो उसे डिसइन्फॉर्मेशन कहा जाता है, जिसका मेन डिफरेंस है इंटेंट विद व्हिच इट इज गिवन. Misinformation is, next slide, misinformation is, press again, alternative facts, means which not have an intent to create any kind of issue, but when it comes to disinformation, it means to have a propaganda, they want to propagandize something, उनको कुछ एक aim है sensationalize करने का या एक propaganda generate करने का. Next please. India में, if we see, the disinformation landscape, also called as fake news, is so widespread that according to a 2020 report by Oxford Internet Institute, India is among the top 3 countries where the social media disinformation is most prevalent. Next slide. Here are some examples of disinformation campaigns in India. If we see COVID-19 में, जब we had this pandemic, there were a lot of disinformation regarding not taking of vaccine due to certain reasons, false cures, and theories. Some people also propagated their own medicines, claiming that it can cure corona. Similarly, farmers protest because of incomplete knowledge. Farmers के पास complete knowledge नहीं था कि laws और acts कैसे हैं, तो कुछ भी propagate हो रहा था. और when farmers protested against it, तो farmers के protest के against भी एक false news spread हो रही थी कि उनका agenda कुछ और है. Then lot of communal violence is also a result of wrong propaganda which happened due to disinformation. If we see, जो 2020 में दिल्ली में riots हुए थे, उसमें Citizenship Amendment Act के बारे में जो protest हुए थे, उसके बारे में भी fake news और information spread हुई थी. उसी तरह elections में lot of time there is disinformation to propagandize, to change public opinion, to change view of thinking of the people. Next please. These are some of the examples of disinformation campaigns like Muzaffarnagar riots 2013, fake video had fueled communal passions. Then somebody said UNESCO has declared Jan Gan Man as best national anthem in the world. All these are disinformation. President Kovind makes Twitter debut, gains 3 million followers in an hour. GPS tracking nano chip in 2,000 rupee note. When the currency ban happened for 1,000 rupee and 500 rupees note, I was working in Reserve Bank of India. There was nothing like having a nano chip or anything. It was all fake. In fact, big news channels were showing it without any verification of the news. Next. So what are the effects of disinformation? First of all, it undermines the democracy, because अगर citizen के पास एक complete information ही नहीं है कि एक पार्टी का एजेंडा क्या है या गवर्नमेंट क्या कहना चाह रही है, गवर्नमेंट के पॉलिसीज के बारे में information नहीं है, तो it undermines the purpose of democracy. Then it shaping the public opinion, how the public, the government or the policy, it creates a kind of confusion in the minds of voters that who should they vote for. डैमेजिंग सोशल कोहेजन, यानी जो हमारा सोशल फैब्रिक है, इंडिया इज अ known nation for having different communities, having the cohesion among different communities and living together peacefully, ये उसको डिस्टर्ब करता है. एंड प्लस इट प्रमोट्स अ डिस्ट्रस्ट, मतलब पब्लिक का एक विश्वास उठ जाता है कि जो इन्फॉर्मेशन आ रही है वो किस हद तक सही है, जो गवर्नमेंट कह रही है या कोई भी एक मीडिया चैनल कह रहा है उसको ट्रस्ट भी किया जा सकता है कि नहीं किया जा सकता है. देन वन ऑफ द इश्यूज आल्सो कमिंग अप बिकॉज ऑफ डिसइंफॉर्मेशन इज हिंडरिंग पब्लिक हेल्थ एफर्ट्स. मींस कई बार रॉन्ग प्रोपेगेंडा की वजह से people have not been taking vaccinations and it hampers the health initiatives taken by the government. What are the challenges in countering disinformation? First challenge है कि identification की information actually में एक सही information है कि नहीं है, कि first thing is whether it's actually a disinformation. Second thing is it just rushes, it makes its way through WhatsApp, through Instagram, through Twitter, and repeated sharing of information over this platform spreads it quickly. There is no accountability. Just before starting of this session, I was talking to Mr. Frankie Stone that when it gets posted on a Twitter platform or say Facebook platform, Insta platform, there is a sense of anonymity कि किसने पोस्ट किया. मैंने पोस्ट कर दिया और वो आगे 100 लोगों के पास सर्कुलेट हो गया, एक चेन बन गई, बट मेरी कोई अकाउंटेबिलिटी नहीं है कि मैंने ऐसा कुछ गलत काम किया है या फेक न्यूज स्प्रेड की है. तो इस लैक ऑफ अकाउंटेबिलिटी की वजह से लॉट ऑफ पीपल आर जस्ट स्प्रेडिंग एनी काइंड ऑफ rumor they want to. Lack of resources, we have less number of resources to check the authenticity of the information, and of course there are cultural and linguistic barriers. And when we talk about strategies for countering disinformation, building media literacy, and we thank University of Osmania and the US Consulate for having this kind of session for our journalists today, so that they are more aware and they have a critical thinking about whatever information they are getting on the first hand and then they reproduce to others. यानी कि जो information उनके पास आती है और जो information वो टेलीविजन में दिखाते हैं या प्रिंट करते हैं उसके बारे में वो एक critical thinking रखें. Second is promoting digital literacy. थर्ड इज इंकरेजिंग ट्रांसपेरेंसी इन मीडिया एंड गवर्नमेंट, यानी कि गवर्नमेंट को भी जब भी कोई बिल आती है या कोई एक्ट लाती है, दे शुड बी मोर ट्रांसपेरेंट एंड दे शुड बी द वंस कमिंग आउट एंड टेलिंग दैट व्हाट इज द मीनिंग of this bill or policy, whether it was Citizenship Amendment Act or Farmers Act, that how it does not affect the interest of a certain group of people. The government also has to be clear. Then supporting independent journalism is also one of the ways through which we can counter disinformation, where independent and learned and well-read journalism is supported. And also building partnerships between civil society organization, technology companies and government. This is how, if there is a partnership, the sharing of information will be more correct and more easy. When it comes to the role of social media platforms in tackling disinformation, they have to check the facts. First is fact checking. Second is content moderation, that what can be posted on their platform, what cannot be posted. Promoting media literacy, transparency and building partnerships. Some of the examples of disinformation campaigns are anti-vaccine campaigns, religious polarization campaigns and political campaigns. If we see what are the lessons learned from these disinformation campaigns are, they are highly effective in spreading false narrative and manipulating public opinion, particularly social media platforms. आप अपने घर में ही देख लीजिए कि आपका जो ओपिनियन है आपके फादर से डिफरेंट है, आपकी मदर से डिफरेंट है, और आपके फादर, मदर, बहन, भाई या ग्रैंडमदर, ग्रैंडफादर जिस तरीके का बायस रखते हैं उस तरीके की इंफॉर्मेशन उनके यूट्यूब या इंस्टाग्राम में फ्लो होती रहती है और उनकी बायस और भी ज्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग होते रहते हैं. सो इट इज, you don't need to go and check anybody else's house for that or anywhere else. You just see your own house, that whatever bias we are having or any of our family member is having, they are fed such kind of information and their biases become stronger. They can also, such kind of disinformation campaigns also contribute to social unrest, violence and erosion of social cohesion. They result in manipulation of a lot of time election outcomes. Sometimes we have a pre-election poll or something, and before the actual results are announced, it is said, okay, a certain party is winning, and people are inclined to vote more for that party because they think it is winning, let me vote for it. So there is a lot of change of opinion of the public when it comes to information that they are receiving. So it's very important for you as journalists to see that the fact checking of information is there before it is actually printed or telecasted. So when you talk about the role of government, how the government has to act on it, as of now we don't have any fake news law on fake news or spreading disinformation, so maybe we can have one. Then government, as of now, like OU and US consulate is doing, government can itself come forward for having programs on media literacy, then providing accurate information, building partnership and education and awareness. Then also cooperation among stakeholders for a wider reach, for accountability, like who has posted the information, he should be accountable for the information that he has posted. When we talk about resources for countering disinformation, have we come there? Cooperation, next slide. Yeah. Resources for countering information. When I was myself reading through before delivering today's lecture, I saw certain open media platforms like Alt News in India, where it fact checks the information and gives the right information about the incidents which has happened. There was a recent honor killing which happened in Pet Bashirba, which was within the same community, but certain of the one or two of the anonymous Twitter accounts and media channels had propagated it as an inter-community honor killing. But later on, Alt News had done the fact checks and made it that it is only same community honor killing. Though honor killing is bad, but when it becomes inter-community, it can have other repercussions as well. So these websites should be encouraged and promoted. Similar we have over Alt News is for India. Over the world we have Boom Live TV, which also does a fact check of the information. So these kind of fact checking websites can be seen by all of you to see whether the facts are right or not. So these are some of the organizations working to counter disinformation in India. Indian fact-checking website Alt News, the Digital Empowerment Foundation, Center for Media Studies, Observer Research Foundation, and the fact-checking website Boom. These are some of the independent organizations who are working to counter disinformation. And as far as the laws and regulation to curb fake news in India are concerned, it's the Press Council of India. These are the organization News Broadcaster Association, Broadcasting Content Complaint Council, IPC specific sections that we have been looking to counter disinformation include IPC section 153, which says wantonly provocating with intent to cause a riot, and section 295, injuring or defiling place of worship. And otherwise also for non-cognizable offences, we have been taking complaints against disinformation. And section 66 in the IT Act 2000 particularly has been imposed a lot of time where we have reported fake news in our cybercrimes police station. So when it comes to how to counter, what is the call of action to counter disinformation, not just in Urdu journalism, any of the journalism, but specifically today, since the program is for Urdu journalists, is to educate yourself about the issue, to critically analyze where from the information is coming. Is it a WhatsApp information? It's a Twitter information? How do I check? Has that news channel done such kind of wrong information circulation before or not? Should I talk to a government organization to verify the facts of the information? This is your role. And to develop a critical thinking and media literacy skills, to share accurate information and fact-checking the information, to advocate for greater transparency, and to support civil society organizations and fact-checking organizations. It is, next slide please, last one. Yeah, this is just a, how can we spot a fake news? Suppose you got a source, you read beyond the source, means just don't go, okay, one headline has come, you read the entire news, check the author, whether the author is reliable or not, whether he has published any kind of fake news before, or he's just a sensationalized author. Get supporting resources, what sources they support the information and what don't. Check the date. Sometimes when a sensational situation is going on, people get a news from previous date and just publish it to get a kind of sensationalized. We ask the experts, if sometimes even in cybercrimes we have noticed in my own domain that people call us and ask whether the information is right or not, whether the crime is registered or not. So it is actually good to call and verify before printing. But however, the reverse has also happened, that without calling also some information has been printed and later on it has been told to be deleted from their own platforms. and check your biases. Sometimes we also as journalists, or I as an officer, or any one of us might have our own biases. But when we are playing the role of a journalist, हम एक journalist की तरह काम कर रहे हैं, हमें एक neutral opinion लेके चलना है, क्योंकि जो हम लिख रहे हैं या जो हम दिखा रहे हैं, they are going to affect a lot of minds. And with the advancement of generation, even young children at the age of 10 years also, they have started watching news, they are following social media, important handles. So जो हम उनको दिखाते हैं, it is going to have a long-term impact on our society, on a well-knitted society that we have. So responsible journalism forms an important part of countering disinformation. So that's all for my address today. I hope it was useful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam. I think it will be definitely useful to all our participants. I think it was an illuminating address. Within this short span of time, I think madam has covered a lot of ground. Okay, very systematic, very organized. Before I invite Sudhakar Reddy Garu, the chief trainer for this program, may I acknowledge the presence of Mr. Abdul Basit, who is the media advisor to the US Consulate, who has been a great support to us. Also acknowledge the presence of Mr. Majid Garu, President of the Telangana Urdu Association. Now I request Sudhakar Garu, Urdu Sudhakar Reddy Garu, to offer his closing remarks. Thank you.
Good morning. So you have to stay awake till evening, sir. So thank you very much, Mr. Frankie from the US Consulate General for funding this program for the Usmania University, and also for coming here today despite you got a lot of big assignment of shifting from Begumpet to Paiga Palace to another palace, the modern palace, which is one of the best, I think one of the best in South Asia. This consul, new consul.
It's big. It's big.
It's big. So, thank you very much, Frankie, for your stressing on how important is fact-checking and countering disinformation for democracy. And thank you for the US Consul General and other officers there who were we have conducted Telugu program very successfully. Today there are fact checkers who are working there. Ma'am, I want to tell you, in Hyderabad we have similar organizations like Alt News and Boom Live. We have Factly, that's been there before this program started, but with this program there are two fact-checking organizations closely associated. One is Newsmeter, other one is Telugu Post. We have Satya here. They're doing wonderful work. TeluguPost.com and Newsmeter.in, they're doing wonderful work on fact-checking. They're fact-checking a lot of, and they have partnership with Meta also, one of the, and we have Urdu fact-check agencies also. Now we have Jakriya here to say hello to everybody. He is from one of the top Urdu fact-checking organizations. A lot of Viswas News Checker, they're doing the good fact-checking work. And thank you, Professor Ravinder Garu. He's a Vice Chancellor, Professor, learned man, but looks simple. And he's always there here. Every time Professor Steve tells us, the Vice Chancellor is so supportive to this program, and he's always here whenever Professor asks him to address him, but he always tells us, be careful, don't write anything negative about Usmania. But we can't promise that, sir. But it will be factual. Let's promise him, whatever we write will be factual. And other basics of journalism is Adi Alteram Partam is a Latin maxim. Nobody should be judged unheard. So take the other side of the version also. So that's what Professor is also stressing. Thank you, Professor Garu, for coming despite your engaging schedule outside. And let's give a big round of applause for the Indian Police Service Officer, Sneha Mehraji. because she started as an agricultural officer. She knows what India is about, and she was with Reserve Bank of India as a manager, and then she took up IPS, and she has come here and explained us a lot of things. Even the UNESCO national anthem, if people think, most of Indians think we are the best national anthem in the world. Yes, it's best for us, but we are not awarded as such. Even the ChatGPT, because today we live in the age of ChatGPT. If I ask ChatGPT which is the best national anthem, it says India has been awarded, because ChatGPT is also picking up fake and disinformation from websites, because it just sucks the information from the internet. So ChatGPT, some people said ChatGPT is an alternative for fact checkers. It's not. So fact checkers, still our jobs are there. So thank you very much, ma'am, for detailed presentation, and which we have been teaching them a lot of things, and thank you for being here. And Majid Sahab, आपको मालूम है जनाब माजिद साहब इतना लाइक आपके लिए बहुत कोशिश करा ये प्रोग्राम के लिए, and Majid Sahab is always with us, and thank you sir, and thank you Professor Stevenson sir. He is a big figure for all of us, and excellent arrangements here for today. And Basit is a man who is actually running, driving us, is a pivotal force for that. And thank you for the trainers, Jakaria, coming all the way from Patna here. And he's young but very resourceful, and Satyapriya is here, and we have other resource persons. And thank you all of you, because there are 30-year industry also here, 30, 40. Shaukat Saab is 40-year industry and 25-year industry. I know we all have egos as journalists, like many other professions, but all of you are sitting here as students, and there are people who got 10 lakh subscribers, 10 lakh followers also sitting here and listening to these classes. And despite because the cream of Urdu journalism is here. Despite you've given up your day today and come here. Thank you all of you, and stay awake. Afternoon, even after biryani, Hyderabad biryani and Hyderabad mutton ragan juice, whatever. So be awake, and I will be there to keep you awake. Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks for this. Thank you, Frankie, and thank you, Professor. Thank you, Sneha. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll break for tea and snacks, reassemble maybe around 11:15, okay? Yeah, maybe we can have a group photograph if possible, maybe outside. Outside, okay? Let us not waste time, okay? Thank you.